You know the look. People give it to you at weddings. They give it to you at holiday dinners. Friends give it to you when they get engaged. It is a look of gentle pity, and it is because of a hidden rule. The rule that says life is a waiting room for marriage. That says you are stuck if you wait too long. And those that follow this rule might think you are flawed. They might think you are unlucky. If you never marry, you'd be considered a failure. And the fact that you didn't marry a failure to grow up, a failure to connect. They might think nobody chose you, but what if they are wrong? What if being single is not an empty space? What if it is a built structure of freedom? What if it brings true personal growth? Maybe you feel perfectly at peace alone. Then the world tells you that you are just lonely. You know the stereotypes are completely wrong. This is the psychology of people who never marry. Being alone is very different from being single. People often assume all single people want the same thing. They think everyone is running the same race, and that some people are running slower. The truth is much more complex than that. But first, we must drop the idea that all single people are alike. Then we can really understand the minds of people who never marry. Research makes a very important split. It separates people who choose to stay single from those who want a partner but face roadblocks. This is the difference between voluntary and involuntary singlehood. Some singlehood comes from outside limits. These limits include money problems, they include social anxiety, they also include the hard task of finding a good partner today. For these people, being single can feel like a source of deep loneliness. However, chosen singlehood comes from a very different place. It often comes from having high standards for marriage. It comes from a strong need for independence. It comes from a focus on work goals. It can also come from turning away from bad past relationships. When you look at people who choose to be single, you do not see missing pieces. You see people playing a totally different game. Research shows that chosen singlehood links closely to independence and high standards. It is not that these people fear closeness. It is that they value their freedom more. They have looked at the deals you must make in a normal marriage. They decided the cost to their personal freedom is just too high. This brings us to a deeper mental framework, 3 basic needs. Rest at the core of human wellness. These are freedom of choice, feeling capable, and feeling connected to others. Marriage is the best way to meet these needs. It is the only safe way. That's what you're told. But studies show something else. They show that singles who meet these needs also enjoy a very happy life. The key factor is having a choice. A person might see their single life as a clear choice. They might deeply value their freedom. This mindset leads directly to a happier life. On the other hand, someone might feel trapped in singlehood. They might feel forced into it by outside things. This feeling often leads to sadness and depression. This means a single person's feelings do not come from their relationship status. Their feelings come from their inner sense of control. Lifelong singles are not just surviving their solo state. Many are thriving in ways that challenge our oldest cultural stories. Chosen singlehood links to a better overall well-being. This is especially true when they don't really want a partner. They learn to get their needs met from many different places. They enjoy a wide mix of life experiences. They do not put the heavy weight of all their needs on one romantic partner. In fact, not having a spouse often acts as a spark for personal change. Studies look at the main traits of lifelong singles. These studies show that they report much more personal growth than married people. They report having more freedom and choice in their lives. A married person might lean on their partner to handle feelings or make choices. The lifelong single person builds a strong inner compass. They are more likely to see life as an open path of learning. They judge themselves by their own personal values. They do not just follow what other people expect them to do. Here we find a very interesting twist. In romantic relationships, being too independent can sometimes cause problems. It can create distance or fights between partners. But for lifelong singles, extreme independence is a strong mental shield. It actively guards them against negative feelings and mental stress. What looks like a flaw in a marriage turns out to be a great strength in singlehood. The person who never marries has often mastered the art of keeping themselves safe. Still, the path of the lifelong single changes over time. If you are in your 20s or 30s, you might feel a lot of friction. This is the time when society pushes the marriage story the hardest. It is the time for wedding invites and baby showers. Staying single during these years can feel like swimming against a strong current. During early adulthood, people often feel less happy about being single. They struggle with intense outside pressure. They also struggle with their own inner doubts. But a quiet and deep shift usually happens around midlife. Large studies show that happiness with singlehood actually goes up after midlife. People cross the age of 40, the frantic push to find a partner naturally drops away. The outside noise finally gets quiet. What is left is a very clear sense of self. They let go of the fake ideal of a partner. This lets them put their massive energy into other goals. They focus on work, hobbies, community, and deep friendships. They stop waiting for their life to officially begin. They realize they have been living a rich and full life the entire time. For many people, singlehood grows from a basic status into a core part of who they are. This is very true for women. Studies explore how single women live across different stages of life. They note that singlehood is often hugged as a real part of their identity. It is not seen as an accident anymore. The old view of singlehood as weird or wrong is fading away. It is replaced by a clear new understanding. Well-being for these women does not depend on finding a mate. Their mental health depends heavily on making their own money. It also depends on building very good friendships. It does not depend on having a huge number of friends. This breaks another very common stereotype. It breaks the myth of the lonely older single person. We tend to think a person is totally alone just because they are not married. In real life, single adults are often the hidden glue that holds families and towns together. They are not running away from human bonds. They are simply spreading them out. Single adults tend to have fewer casual friends, but they often talk much more often with the friends they do have. They also step up to help their family members much more than married people do. We cannot talk about the mind of the lifelong single without talking about the culture they live in. That would not be fair. The hard part of being single is rarely the actual state of being single. The hard part is how the world treats you because you are single. Single people constantly face an environment of singleism. This means they face unfair labels and limits just because they are not paired up. In many places, family and society push people very hard to get married. This pressure never seems to stop. This social pressure is not harmless at all. It has a real and bad impact on mental health. Pressure from family and the dark cloud over being single can really hurt single people. It creates a fake fear of being single. It tricks totally happy people into thinking they are missing out on something. Single women often feel this pressure the most. They feel forced to spend their free time doing things for their family. This happens because other people view their time as free. They think a single woman's time is less important than the time of someone with a spouse and kids. Someone who never marries has a quiet type of bravery. It takes deep emotional smarts to look critically at the normal path of life. And it takes guts to look at the path that gets you the most cheers. Then you must say that the path is not for you. This proves that human beings are just too complex. We cannot all be happy using the exact same set of plans. The people who do well staying single forever have not given up on love at all. They have just made the word bigger. They find love in their total freedom. They find it in their quiet mornings. They find it in the family members they help. They find it in the deep friendships that see them for who they are. What about you? Are you a lifelong single? Are you planning on never marrying? Tell us in the comments why. And if the video made sense, consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. That helps us out immensely.